Welcome to the Explainer. Consider this your absolute ultimate boot camp for crushing advanced options economics on the Series 7. We're going to take all that heavy, complex math and basically turn it into pure, unadulterated points on exam day. If you want to actually understand the why behind the rules and not just blindly memorize them, you are exactly in the right place.
Real quick, before we hit the whiteboard, this explainer is brought to you by CertFuel. They've got a full Series 7 course with adaptive study quizzes, smart flashcards, and unlimited practice exams weighted just like the real thing. Honestly, it's an incredible tool to lock this stuff in, so check them out at certfuel.com. All right, let's get into it.
Here is your cheat sheet roadmap for today. 1. Core principles of spreads. 2. Time decay, friend or foe. 3. Expiration and intrinsic value. 4. Mastering break-even formulas. And 5. The rapid-fire recap. Get your brain ready because we are moving fast.
Okay, let's dive right into Section 1, Core Principles of Spreads.
First up, you have got to understand what a break-even actually is. It is the exact stock price at which the investor neither gains nor loses, period. Think of it like a seesaw, perfectly balanced in the middle. It's the ultimate pivot point for any strategy. Literally everything balances on this invisible line, figuring out whether you're ending up in the green or in the red.
So at that exact break-even point, your net result on the trade is exactly $0. You haven't made a single penny, and you haven't lost a single penny either. It's kind of like the absolute calm right in the center of the options storm.
Now, here is where we establish the unbreakable law. I need you to lock this math into your brain right now. Maximum gain plus maximum loss will always, and I mean always, equal the spread width. And remember, the spread width is just the difference between your strike prices. This rule is an absolute anchor. You're going to use it for every single vertical spread calculation on the exam.
Moving on to Section 2, time decay, also known as theta. Is it your friend or your foe?
So I want you to imagine time decay as this relentless force of nature that just eats premiums like a wood chipper. To figure out if it's your friend or your foe, let's bring in our recurring characters. On the left, we've got Carla the customer. She entered a debit spread, meaning she paid a net premium up front. Over on the right, we've got Riley the rep. He entered a credit spread, meaning he collected a net premium. Remember this dynamic. Carla paid money to open her position, while Riley collected money to open his.
Now pause the video for a second. Seriously, look at the screen. Who wants the options to expire totally worthless? Is it Carla, who paid for them, or Riley, who collected money for selling them? Take a second, hit pause, and really think about it. Got it?
Well, here's the answer. Riley the rep is absolutely thrilled when time passes quietly because he collected the premium up front. If the options expire worthless, he gets to keep it all. So time decay actually helps him. Every quiet day is a payday. But for Carla, oh man, time decay actively works against her. Because she paid a net premium, she desperately needs fast stock movement before time completely eats away her investment.
Exam trap? Listen closely to this one because they love to test it. A debit spread that is slightly in the money can still lose value as expiration approaches. Wait, why? Because the long options time value can erode way faster than any intrinsic value it might be gaining from being slightly in the money. Don't let them trick you with this.
And the magic number here is 30. Options lose their time value the absolute fastest in the final 30 days before expiration. This massively accelerates the danger for Carla the customer. The clock is ticking, and it's actually ticking exponentially faster the closer she gets to zero.
All right, Section 3, expiration and intrinsic value. Let's see how this builds. So, enter Sam the supervisor. The clock has officially run out, and Sam is stepping in to audit the accounts. At expiration, he declares that all time value is gone. 0. Done. The only thing left to calculate a spread's worth is its intrinsic value. And if there's no intrinsic value, Sam says the option is completely worthless.
And this brilliantly illustrates the polar opposite outcomes for our characters. Look at this. If both options end up in the money, Carla hits her maximum value because her debit spread is fully in the money. But Riley, he hits his maximum loss. Now flip it around. If both options are out of the money, Carla's spread expires completely worthless, meaning she hits her max loss. But Riley, he hits his maximum value because he keeps all that sweet premium. It's basically a pure tug-of-war depending on where the stock lands.
Exam trap. I'm yelling it again because it is literally that important. A spread's maximum value at expiration equals the spread width, not an unlimited amount.
Remember, spreads are defined risk strategies. Even if the stock makes a massive, historic move far past both strikes, your gain on the long option is completely offset by the loss on the short option. You are solidly capped at the spread width.
Let's jump into Section 4, Mastering Break-Even Formulas.
Okay, high focus zone right here. We are mastering these formulas right now. I promise we'd look at the patterns so you don't have to blindly memorize. And what's really interesting here is this consistent plus-minus pattern. Check out the calls. Bull call spread and bear call spread both use the lower strike. Now look at the puts. Bear put spread and bull put spread both use the higher strike. Call goes with lower, put goes with higher. If you lock that relationship in, honestly, the formulas just build themselves.
Now, what about straddles and combinations? The rule here is beautifully simple. The total premium is your magic pivot point holding all the math together. For an upside break-even, you take the strike, or the call strike for combinations, and you just simply add the total premiums. For the downside break-even, you guessed it, you subtract the total premiums. The total premium is your anchor every single time.
And finally, Section 5, the rapid-fire recap. Let's go.
Okay, shake it out and ramp up that energy. It is time for a fast-paced summary of the most highly testable points. Takeaway number 1, maximum gain plus maximum loss always equals the spread width. Guys, when you are sitting in that exam chair, run this math backward as a sanity check on every single multi-leg question before you submit your answer. If it doesn't add up, you made a mistake.
Takeaway 2, paid net premium, which creates a debit position, means time decay hurts you. Remember Carla, the customer? She absolutely hates time decay because her paid premium is just evaporating like clockwork every single day that stock doesn't move.
Takeaway 3, collected net premium, a credit position, means time decay helps you. Riley the rep loves time decay, right? He wants quiet days where he just keeps the money as the options slowly expire completely worthless.
So, here is my final challenge to you before we wrap up. If a spread's value at expiration is purely intrinsic, how will you use the spread width rule to prove your exam math is bulletproof? Go apply the maximum gain plus maximum loss equals spread width rule to your practice exams right now. Make it a reflex. Guarantee your success, and I'll see you in the next explainer.